Hey guys, my name is James Walsh, and you are listening to the Wrestling Epicenter here on YouTube. I want to thank you for finding us. Please do me a favor and click that subscribe button and the notifications bell. And if you get the chance on this video, click the like button. If you do, it'll turn blue. Check it out. Also, check out WrestlingEpicenter.com for all this great content available in MP3 format, our online store that'll keep us going free and clear, daily news updates, as well as all the information from the history of professional wrestling you could possibly ever want. Check out WrestlingEpicenter.com online right now. Without any delay, let's get to your interview here on the Wrestling Epicenter. This week, we bring you an interview that I remember being very soon after he was released from the WWE the first time, as we discuss what happened with the push, the Masterlock challenge that he had going on that was completely obliterated right after SummerSlam 2005. And if you really think about it, I think the reason it was obliterated was obvious. It was somebody that got beat politically, flexing their muscles to ensure that their political place was still set and people still respected who they were politically. Think about who worked in the main event of SummerSlam 2005, who didn't win that match, and then who went on to beat the younger competitor who was getting a push. I'm just throwing that out there for all to listen to. But anyway, quite the interview. It's actually from 2007, so it's not from 2005 or 6 when he first left, but still a great conversation. And I just love the story about him picking up a tree to get his mom out of a burning house. Because think about that. You pick up a tree. How does that happen? I guess when you're Chris Masters, it's like picking up a toothpick. Anyway, let's get to that interview here. I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you get the chance, please do check us out at WrestlingEpicenter.com. If you haven't already, click the like button. It does help with the algorithms, so we get indexed higher. We get more money. We get all these good things that are all good for us to continue uploading content here onto YouTube. So click the like button, click the subscribe button. Keep us going. Free and clear. Here we go. Welcome back to Our Slam Wrestling, as we are now being joined by the masterpiece, Chris Masters, now known as Chris Mordetsky. Chris, what are you going to go by on the independent scene?
But everybody makes their mistakes in their life. I came back and, I just, basically, obviously from that point on, you know what I mean? I wasn't being used very well on TV and stuff like that. I wasn't very happy with a lot of things, and it wasn't just professional, it was personal. I've been dealing with a lot of personal issues, which is probably what, ultimately, ended up affecting my career in a lot of ways. But, I got my head up high, and, actually I'm very optimistic about the future here, you know what I mean? I'm not, crawling up into a ball or anything like that. I'm getting myself out there, and, I'm 24 years old. I still love and have a passion for professional wrestling. And to be honest, right before my last match, before I injured my elbow over in Nottingham, England, I really felt like Chris Masters of 2 years ago. I had the passion, I had the fire, I had the drive. And, it's a heartbreak that it was cut, that it was cut short, like the way it did, and all the circumstances that happened after that. Obviously, one bad thing to the next. First the injury, the suspension, and then the release. But, the thing is, like I said, I'm 20, I'm 24, and I have a passion for this, and I'm not necessarily, I'm not hanging up the boots, I'm not hanging up the tights, I'm, I want to get myself out there, bookings, and, I still have a love for professional wrestling, I grew up pretty much watching, loving it, like all your viewers who are listening, I was, I've been a diehard fan my whole life, I don't consider myself too much different from the fans. When I see them, it's like I can look back and reminisce the times when, I wanted to get an autograph one that was from anybody. anybody. You know what I mean? And it just meant the world to me. And, professional wrestling, it's been my passion, love. It's all I know. And, like I said, I'm not, by no means am I giving up on professional wrestling or anything. I mean, I'm going to keep my options open. I'm right in the middle of, in Hollywood, entertainment capital. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to get a couple projects together and see what I can get going here.
Now, obviously, since you had to change your name, the WWE does own the Chris Masters gimmick.
Yes.
Okay, so when you're on the indie scene, you're going to be Chris Cornetsky, correct?
Well, I haven't even looked that far ahead yet. Like I said, I'm still injured right now, so I can't necessarily. I still have a couple weeks of recovery. I dislocated my elbow, obviously, in that match in Nottingham, and I got a couple more weeks before I can even start working out or wrestling again. And, I'm just keeping in contact. I'm making contacts, obviously, on the independent scene and, also just seeing what opportunities are out there. I mean, we both know, basically WWE is the spot, but, there are other options out there. And, like I said, I don't feel like I'm done. I mean, 24, to be this age and to really feel like to really regain that passion, that fire again and have it taken away, it's just more than anything, it's kind of motivated me and got me off my ass.
Let me ask you this. You're younger than both of us interviewing you here, and that kind of makes us both feel a little pathetic considering how much you've accomplished in your life. So the question I have for you is...
For yourself, Jim.
Yeah, speak for myself, alrighty. Well, you're a huge guy. You got tons of power. Japan loves that kind of wrestler. Is that an option that you've been thinking about?
Oh, yeah. I'm weighing out every single option I possibly can right now. I'm just trying, like I said, this is so all of a sudden, I mean, this has happened about, about a week ago. So, I'm still adjusting and, coming to terms with, everything that's gone on, but at the same time, like I told you, I'm not sitting on my butt. I'm getting my name out there, and I'm definitely have an interest, a very great interest in continuing to do this. I just don't feel like, I can't look. There's no way that 10 years from now I can look back and be comfortable with the fact that that was it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the door for WWE will be open again for me. I'm not thinking that far ahead. I'm thinking about now, what's going on now, and what I need to do at this point. I'm not like, I'm not relying on, I'm going back to working my way back to WWE once all this stuff blows over and getting a second chance. Right now I'm just focusing on the fact that I want to wrestle. Straight up. I mean, it's as simple as that. I want to wrestle. It's what I love to do, and that's it. I mean, whatever, like I said, I'm getting all the right contacts. So, we'll just see what the future holds for me.
What were your initial impressions of the Masterpiece?
My initial, there was so much, it's funny because, there's so many critics. That gimmick has obviously been done, it's been tweaked and it's been done time and time again and stuff like that. And, as far as gimmick, I'm saying, selling yourself as a body guy. But, I want to clarify one thing, you know what I mean? I know there's a lot of internet wrestling fans and stuff like that, but it's, I'm no different from those guys back when, I wasn't wrestling, you know what I mean? I studied the business. I was always constantly, checking to see what was going on behind the scenes. And, when it comes down to it, like the Masterpiece character, I think it kind of, it did kind of fit me naturally just because, I'll give you an example. In Ohio Valley Wrestling, when I first started there, Jim Cornette tried to have me come out as a babyface against Joey Mercury, of all people. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I just, somehow, some way I give off a demeanor that people love to hate, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, obviously, in professional wrestling. That's a good thing. Mm-hmm. So from that point on, Jim Cornette told me, you're gonna be a heel. And, I guess it just felt more natural. I don't know if it was just, you know, the way I carried myself, my smirk, but, you know, whatever it was. But, you know, I like the gimmick, you know, because I just, you know, my other passion obviously is work. I love to work out. Bodybuilding is a hobby of mine, but the only reason I ever did bodybuilding or worked out was for the pursuit of professional wrestling. You know what I mean? I never had any inspirations of being a bodybuilder, despite what everybody thinks. And then, you know, a lot of people think that's one of the biggest misconceptions that I absolutely hate. Because, you know, you got so many guys who come into professional wrestling and they don't necessarily love it. They didn't, you know, and you don't have to love it or watch it your whole life to get into it and, you know, obviously be good. But the thing is, you know, I never wanted to be known as just a body guy. You know what I mean? That was my goal, you know what I mean? Is not to be known as just a body guy, because I respect the guys who can go out there and perform well.
Who inspired you to be a wrestler? You mentioned that you were a fan always, so who inspired you to get into this?
Well, you know what? I loved The Ultimate Warrior when I was a kid. I loved The Ultimate Warrior when I was a kid, and for, I mean, obvious reasons. You can even look back and you can watch and you can see, you know, as a kid, why you like the guy. He's larger than life. He's, you know what I mean? Like, just a larger
comic book character come to life.
Exactly. But, you know what? As I grew older, you start to appreciate the guys who go out there and they give you a pay-per-view match. And, like, for instance, Shawn Michaels. Like, once Shawn Michaels went off on his own, I followed his career pretty much all the way up until I got into the WWE. And, you know, he was somewhat of a hero of mine. And, you know, obviously it was an honor working him. But the point of the whole thing is just like, you know, as I grew older, you start to appreciate the guys who go out there and actually really work and leave nothing else out there, you know what I mean? And give you know what I mean? Because you can, how many times you see a guy work on Raw and then a guy work on pay-per-view, and, you know, it's not, you know, not many guys deliver pay-per-view matches. It's not much different, but then there are your handful of guys who are good, you know, for instance, like a Shawn Michaels, who will go out there and he will give you a pay-per-view match. You know what I mean? You know, if you're spending, you know, $30 or whatever it is nowadays at this point, you know, he could deliver you a pay-per-view match. And, you know, that's what ultimately, you know, I grew to respect him and really kind of emulate him all the way up until I made it to World Wrestling Entertainment.
Now, you had an awesome match with Shawn at Unforgiven. How does that match rank in your career highlights?
Oh, man, that was, you know what, this is the thing. Obviously not being with WWE anymore, I don't really necessarily have negative feelings towards the company because I have a lot of great memories, and the fact of the matter is I fulfilled my dream. You know what I mean? Regardless of what's happening now, I fulfilled my dream. How many people can say that they set out to do something, they did it, and on top of it, they wrestled their childhood hero. You know what I mean? And not to mention, you know, all kinds of, you know, I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, there was, you know, plenty of guys I worked with that, you know, I was huge fans of, you know, a huge fan of, like, Triple H, Ric Flair, you know, all these guys. It was just, you know, sometimes it was amazing to me. Like, you know, I'd be working, you know, the house shows is something I think that people really miss out on if they don't go to, because there you really get to see, like,
wrestling.
You know, there's no time constraints, there's no nothing like that, so you're really able to go out there and relax and be yourself and, you know, put on a match without having to worry about time or anything like that. And some of the best experiences I had were wrestling with, like, Shawn overseas, and then some of the tag matches where I teamed up with Triple H against Shawn and Flair. I mean, look at that. I mean, you got Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Triple H, and then me. You know, like, from my point of view, I'm looking at that and I'm like, wow, you know, this is amazing. You know, like, how do I fit into this picture? But, you know, I carried my weight, and we had some great matches, and they were some of the funnest matches. I was just talking to Carly yesterday. We had a match in Puerto Rico where we went for a good 20 minutes, and the crowd obviously was hot.
Right.
Hot for, you know, once his music hit, it was goosebumps. You know what I mean? And we really tore it up. I mean, I have a lot of great memories with World Wrestling Entertainment. So, like, you know, there's not many regrets.
All right, but I take it that Shawn Michaels match, that was the first time, and I'm going to be honest with you, I knew you had the great body. I knew that you had a lot of the old school in you because the Masterlock challenge was sort of an old schoolish idea brought into the new school. But did you think that that match really showed the TV watching audience, wow, this guy's not just a body. This guy can work. And I think that match went, a good 20 minutes, didn't it, on pay-per-view?
Oh, yeah, it did. It was somewhere between 17 and 20.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of the match that propelled me. And that was, at that time, I mean, if you notice, just, the commentary says a lot in professional wrestling. And at that point in time, they were ready to give me the ball. You know what I mean? It's like, and I was motivated. And, yeah, that was probably my career highlight, being able to work him on pay-per-view. I mean, it's hard to have a bad match with Shawn Michaels, but the thing is, yeah, that was definitely a career highlight for me. And
right.
Where were we going with this with the question? I'm sorry.
Actually, that was just double touching to make sure that was the match that kind of made you feel like you were on the map.
Oh, yeah.
On the map.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, and it definitely propelled me. Like I said, I mean, they were ready to give me the ball, and unfortunately, I'm still pretty darn young, and I make mistakes.
Right.
I drop the ball, and unfortunately, you know what I mean, like that opportunity, it has been taken away from me. You know what I mean, like, and honestly, at a point too, where I felt like, over that last Europe tour, working with Undertaker, working with Ray, and we, having great matches and feeling like my old self again. That passion, that fire and drive was there, and like, I felt like I was ready to get back to that point and really, ready for them at that point to give me the ball, because it's a lot for them. Being at that age,
mm-hmm.
Like I never made any real money before I obviously wrestled for WWE.
Right.
So I mean, it's a lot thrown in your direction at such a young age, and it's like, it's tough, and everybody trips and falls, but the point is to pick yourself back up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's the other alternative?
Right. The other part of that would be, is that road schedule, that being on the road so many days out of the year, is that hectic on somebody, regardless of the age, whether you're 23, 24, 25, or getting up to Flair's age, to 57, 58? Is it just a hard lifestyle to try to keep up with?
Oh, it's incredibly. Like I used to always tell myself, I don't even know, like, guys like Nature Boy Ric Flair and, the guys who are still doing it on a regular basis, who are in their late 30s, early 40s, I mean, and have been doing it for, 10, some 20 years. I just can't even imagine it. I mean, it's like, that's a rare breed of guys right there. You know what I mean? And to be honest, I never knew if I fit that mold. I didn't know if I was a lifer in professional wrestling or not. I mean, obviously right now I'm not with WWE. I keep optimism that, if the opportunity presents itself again, I will be interested in going back there and, doing things the right way. You know what I mean? You learn from your mistakes, you know what I mean? And like, we all make mistakes. I mean, everybody during this interview, all the, internet fans and everything, it's like, you know what I mean? I'm cut from the same mold, you know what I mean? I just ended up, I got lucky. I had the tools and I made it. And, I know I get a lot of heat from the internet fans, but the thing is, that's where, it wasn't too long ago that I was one of those guys, you know what I mean? So it's just, I just want to kind of, like a lot of people are putting so much heat and so much on the, as far as the wellness policy and steroids and stuff like that. And, I just want everybody out there to understand, it's like, we've all fallen down. We've all made mistakes. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anybody who hasn't. You know what I mean? But the point is to obviously learn from those mistakes.
Right. Has anybody in the WWE contacted you since your release to see how you're doing and catch up with you besides Carlito? I know you mentioned Carlito, but.
Oh yeah. I've talked to quite a few guys. I mean, I talked to. It's always a funny situation when somebody gets released. I think, being in the situation myself where I've had friends released, you don't know when's a good time to call and stuff, but, or how it's affected them. For me personally, obviously it was, a heartbreak to me, but at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, you know, right from the get-go, I just, you know, I picked myself up. I got on there and I started getting myself out there, and you know, I started quite a few promoters have been contacting me for bookings and stuff like that. But as far as like WWE wise, you know, I talked to Carlito, I've talked to Vince, I've talked to quite a few people at this point, you know what I mean? Just kind of checking out, seeing what I'm doing, and also, you know, just to find out, like, you know, hey, I pretty much went straight from OVW to WWE. I've never worked the independent scene, but I'm really curious as far as to, you know, experiencing that, and, you know, just embarking on that road and seeing basically that side of the business. And, you know, like I said, I mean, I can either, you know, hang up, you know, burn the boots, hang up the tights, or, you know, I can go out there and I can still keep doing it. And, you know, luckily enough, I've been on TV for, you know, about the last 3 years, so I built up enough of a name where, you know, I think I'm definitely, you know, an available, you know, good free agent right now. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? Just seeing that I got my youth by my side, and, you know, just, you know, the drive is there, the fire is there, you know what I mean? And I'm ready to contribute to whoever's going to give me a chance.
And that reminds me, there's another company. There is, obviously, WWE is the king, and they're leaps and bounds above this company, but this company's starting to make a little noise, and has been for quite a few years, and that's TNA. And they seem to be on a hiring spree of a lot of the WWE guys who just recently departed from the company. Is that something that you would consider?
Again, it's professional wrestling. Professional wrestling is my first love. And like I said, there's a couple projects I'm working on out here as far as Hollywood, you know what I mean, just to see if, you know, for a couple, you know, I don't even want to say, because I've learned just even through the wrestling business, you know what I mean, all you do is jinx things when you say it premature. So, I mean, I got a couple of projects here outside of wrestling that, you know, I'm looking into, and that, like, I'm ready to really devote myself into and really, you know, take the plunge. But as far as TNA goes, I mean, shoot, TNA, I mean, it's the closest competitor to World Wrestling Entertainment, and to be honest, I mean, they've gone, you know, they got Booker T, they got Kurt Angle, they got Christian, but and then they've got a lot of the guys from even back when, like, you know, Kevin Nash is still up there, and quite a few others from what I've seen. And, you know, I think that me as a person, I definitely can contribute to TNA, and, you know, I'm very, very optimistic about possibly doing business with them, you know, after my 90-day clause, of course. And, you know, we'll see what happens, you know what I mean? I mean, like, you know, I know just about as much as you do as far as that situation goes, but, you know, like I said, you know, I'm willing to go out there and commit myself and, you know, just, you know, help contribute. And, you know, I mean, it's just when you, like, even with SmackDown or TNA, you know, like Raw obviously being the premier show. Right. You know, SmackDown was great. It felt like it was just such a team effort. It felt like, you know, we had a camaraderie. We really wanted to compete and make the best program. And I loved that teamwork atmosphere. I thought it was great. You know, I thought, you know, like, nobody was out to get each other or anything like that. We were just, you know, we were really trying to just do the best we could and put on the best program we could. And, you know, it was a cool vibe. And I think TNA would be another place that I would strive, just because those are the conditions I strive under. You know what I mean? I strive under conditions where it's like, you know, hey, we're like being an underdog, or being in an underdog situation like that. It's like, yeah, we're not WWE, but you know what? You know, like, I mean, their roster is building, you know, by the month from what it seems. And, you know, I think that it would definitely be something that I would, if I was to work for them, I would strive, and I think it would be good. You know, it'd be a good team, a good crew to work with, because I think we'd all be motivated. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been there, obviously. I know a few of the guys, but based off of SmackDown, I mean, I definitely would love to contribute and give them every ounce of me.
Now, I want to go back to a few questions ago, just follow up on something. There was a problem or an incident with your last match with Kane and Undertaker, and you cleared it up on your MySpace. Could you explain what happened that required the explanation?
Well, you know what? I'm not much of an internet guy, and so up until now, obviously, because obviously just getting my MySpace page set up, which is Chris Wardetsky official at myspace.com. If I can promote that.
Sure, absolutely.
And last name is spelled Mordezky. But I just kept hearing it was just and I like I said, I don't get caught up in all the internet stuff anymore. But I started getting on there, and everybody was there was rumors going around that Undertaker had purposely injured me because I wasn't selling, and I just after hearing it enough times, I just felt the need. I was like, this is ridiculous. You know what I mean? I need to clear the air on this because, first of all, Undertaker's the most professional guy you could possibly work with. He would never, we put, as entertainers, wrestlers, whatever you want to call us, we put our bodies in each other's hands. You know what I mean? It's one thing if you got a problem with somebody, you know what I mean? Like, personal problem or something like that. But Undertaker's a lot more professional than that. And the thing is there's no way it could have happened on purpose. Exactly what I was doing was I was going to work. I was teaming up with Fit. I was wrestling Undertaker and Kane, and I had Kane's leg, and I was squashing it. I set it up on the bottom rope, and I was doing the squash. Squashing the thighs. Where you pop up on the bottom rope and squash it. I did it twice, and then on the third one, he gave me a boost, or he kicked me basically in the ass. I went over the top rope, and then as my right arm was posting on the apron to do the complete full rotation over, it hyperextended and dislocated, and so I was just at that given moment, I was like, oh, what's going on? Because the muscles were spazzing and everything. I didn't really know. I was like, oh, shoot, what did I do to myself here? So, Undertaker came over. He started putting the boots to me because I was on the outside, and the referee was distracted. And, I started communicating to everybody in the match, like, my arm's screwed. Mm-hmm. So, I clarified all that to them, and basically, that's how the whole situation happened. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how that rumor came about, but nobody in our business, that I can think of, like I said, everybody's very professional, especially The Undertaker. I mean, he's
been around forever.
Yeah, and if he had a problem with anything I was doing in the ring, which he didn't, because, like I said, that whole Europe tour, I mean, that Europe tour was great. I wrestled Rey Mysterio one night, and then the next night I would team with Fit and work with Undertaker and Kane, and every match was dead on, and me and the Undertaker, Fit and Kane, we were doing good business. We were having good matches, you know what I mean? Because I had wrestled them already 2 or 3 times prior to that, and then we had 2 days left in the tour, and then that's when that injury happened. So there was no bad blood between me and the Undertaker, or me with anybody for that matter, you know what I mean? I was sent home about 4 hours later because, they popped my elbow back in. I said my farewell to everybody, which I had no idea would be my final farewell, at least for, we don't, who knows how long at this point. And, it was very motivational because everybody was like, you're back. You're back, you're back, you know what I mean? Just come back exactly the way you are right now. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I found it again. I found that fire. So,
that you mentioned earlier, you talked to Carlito, and there's a rumor going around right now. Since we're dispelling some rumors, the rumor is that Carlito is unhappy and has been asked for his release from the WWE. Is there any truth to that you know of?
Well, I've spoken with Carlito, but just out of respect for him in the situation, I mean, basically, like I said, I've been reading the internet a lot more as of late. I haven't talked to Carly for a while, and I was seeing a bunch of stuff on there, and I contacted him. And, I don't want to necessarily, put words in his mouth or speak on behalf of him. But, so I guess all I can say is no comment on that. But, I did talk to him yesterday. So
right. The question I do have for you, you mentioned a lot of the internet these days, and there seems to be this negative vibe on the internet towards most of the wrestlers, and there seems to be this uninformed vibe that goes on with their mainstream media towards wrestling. Being one of the people that's been discussed in the media, are you at all offended or bothered by the way that the media portrays wrestling and wrestlers, and how little research they seem to do before they formulate opinions and all that good stuff?
Well, yes, in a sense I am, because wrestling is a target.
Mm-hmm.
It is. There's no doubt about it. It's we're like the redheaded stepchild of entertainment, the entertainment industry. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We really are. You know what I mean? I mean, only the people who are fans really get it. Anybody else who isn't, just thinks it's hokey or But the people who actually love it or are in the business, we respect it. You know what I mean? We respect it as an art. Where else do you get athleticism, a soap opera, pyrotechnics, everything that we offer? I mean, you don't get that anywhere else. I mean, it's a great form of entertainment. It's just like going to watch a movie, you know what I mean? We're able to, even though the people know what's going on here, you know what I mean? Fans nowadays by no means are stupid, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you just, they get caught up in, you get caught up in the storylines, and, they get caught just like it was a movie or anything else. And, as far as, what was your question?
Basically, the question is, we spoke to Davari a few days ago, and
yeah.
he's another one of the guys who just released recently, and he went off on a slight tangent about how offended a lot of the guys were at how uninformed the coverage of the, dare I say the words, Chris Benoit coverage was. And basically, you being one of the wrestlers who they've kind of been setting their sights on, were you as bothered by how uninformed their bias against wrestling has been?
I think they have a misconception of professional wrestling, and I think that, this is, as far as the Chris Benoit thing, this is the way I quote it best, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I grew up in Venice, California,
right.
Bodybuilding capital of the world. And, there's a lot of, obviously, there's not many guys over there who are compliant. They don't have to be, though, you know what I mean?
Right.
We're time bodybuilders and stuff like that. And, I just think I think in a lot of ways we're focusing too much on steroids and stuff like that. And it's not to condone that in the sport, you know what I mean? Because, there's no doubt it's not healthy, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's been around the sport for years, and, right now is the time there's a lot of heat on the WWE. But I just, I think the attention is being focused on the wrong stuff, because to be honest, to go back to that, you know what I mean, being born and raised out here, even before the wellness policy, I don't really believe, honestly, at this given time, the 80s might have been different, early 90s, but at this given time, I don't think anybody was abusing. Let's clarify that right now.
Right.
Abusing any substances, you know what I mean? Because, I've seen, like I said, being out in Venice, I've seen the guys who are 300 pounds and, ripped to shreds and then, veiny and all that. And, the thing is, us as professional wrestlers, that's not what we're trying to accomplish, you know what I mean? Because we have to go out there and perform. It's an athletic sport, you know what I mean? We're not just going out there and posing. So, steroids, steroids is just, it's a hot topic. It's a hot topic, and a lot of people are misinformed about it. And I honestly don't believe. Chris Benoit was an intense dude.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Benoit was very intense, and it's just like to quote Chris Rock. Actually, as funny as this is going to sound, but when it came to them trying to point the finger at steroids, obviously, being a person who has experimented with them, everybody's different. But the thing is to quote Chris Rock, what happened to just being straight up crazy? You know what I mean? Like, seriously, I mean, think about how many murders happen every day.
Exactly.
Are these guys pumping themselves with anabolic steroids? No, you know what I mean? Was Charles Manson on freaking, 1,000 milligrams of test or whatever it was, or, no. You know what I mean? It's just...
It wasn't working.
Huh?
But if he was, it wasn't working. He just seems a skinny dude.
Well, exactly. But, I mean, that's my point. You know what I mean? They're so quick to point the finger at that. And, I mean, I think there's more serious problems than the steroids. Because, like I said, I don't feel like anybody was abusing steroids. And I'm not, again, I think that the wellness policy they have in place is a good thing, even despite what's happened to me, you know what I mean? Because, like, we all want to live long, healthy lives. But, again, I don't feel like anybody, even pre-wellness policy, was abusing steroids. But you do have other problems in professional wrestling, which, like I said, I've tripped and fallen a few times, and I'm not going to, I don't want to sugarcoat it to the fans out there. I want to be real with all the fans out there because, I want them to have my respect, and I want them to hear this from me. And the thing is, and not now, because the policy they have in place is strict, regardless of what everybody's saying and the loopholes and whatnot. But all you see on the news is steroids. We got, how many guys have died from muscle relaxers, painkillers, alcohol,
Exactly.
and all that stuff. I mean, I think that stuff is more of a concern than the steroids.
I hate to bring this up, but one of your childhood heroes, the Ultimate Warrior, actually did an interview shortly after the Benoit thing, and he said, well, yeah, steroids is one thing, but it's all the other things that you're putting in your body that can make you go nuts rather than the steroids.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, also I don't know if people understand that working for a big promotion like World Wrestling Entertainment, it's a very stressful job. The travel is ridiculous. I mean, I think the overseas tour I did before this one, we were in Perth, Australia, I believe, and that's the far western part. And we did a show there, which was great, $1 Million House. I wrestled Nature Boy. But then we had to fly from there to Sydney, from Sydney to Los Angeles to Phoenix to shoot TV. And I mean, like, you got to think about this. We're doing this type of stuff pretty much every week we're wrestling. You know what I mean? So it's physically draining, and that's, I mean, unfortunately, that's why, the wellness policy had to be put in place and stuff. But, I don't think enough attention is being, it's all like the finger is being pointed so much at the wrestlers. You know what I mean? There's a lot of other things that could change to, help us, to help us out. You know what I mean? Like, I was a little upset. I got injured. I dislocated my elbow, obviously, and they booked me tickets to come back to Los Angeles, but it ended up being they were supposed to book first class. So I have a busted up arm. I'm in pain, and I was actually sitting in coach. You know what I mean? And I just, I don't, there's some things that need to change in order, like wrestlers, they're not roid ragers. They're not they're not junkies or anything like that. It's just, look at what we have to go through. You know what I mean? I mean, wrestling, despite, everybody knowing, that the outcome's predetermined and everything, the fact of the matter is it's full contact. They push us to do full contact, and, you see it a lot of the time, you know what I mean? Even when I was working with Chuck, you know what I mean? Like, well, I mean, if you would have seen my face over the past couple weeks, I had a black eye and all kinds of things. He had a black eye. I mean, it's full contact, man. I mean, we're beating each other up out there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and I do think that is a problem that that people don't seem to respect it and think that, oh, well, it's fake, so none of it hurts. And that's obviously not the case.
Yeah, exactly. It needs,
right.
It doesn't get respect outside of the wrestling community, out of the fans, out of the actual or sports entertainers. Obviously we respect it, but outside of that, it's not. It's just looked at like cheesy or goofy professional, or like I said, the redheaded stepchild of entertainment, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But I mean, I think people who do get it and do love it and do get captivated in it realize that this is freaking. I mean, wrestling is an amazing industry. I mean, I don't have to tell you. I'm sure you're a fan. You know what I mean?
Been a fan pretty much since I was 3 years old. So yeah, I've been watching it for a long time.
Exactly, and like I said, you're one of the people who got it. Like the same thing with me. I
knew it was fake when I was 7, and it didn't bother me.
Exactly, but it didn't. It didn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like wrestling. Just some people, you either love it or you hate it. You know what I mean? That's what it seems like to me. And the people who love it, they love it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of people. The most often question I hear, like when people ask me if I'm a wrestler, or not question, but responses, I used to watch when I was a kid and stuff. But usually, through my experience, the people who continue to watch wrestling,
mm-hmm.
throughout their life, are usually the ones who, are ambitious enough to go out and try it, or love it enough to go out there and go to wrestling school and pursue it. Like I'm talking about my specific case, but I know that's the exact same situation for a lot of the other guys who have made it up there and been successful.
Exactly. Well, before we let you off the phone, I just wanted to give you a couple word associations, and basically what I'll say is a name, and if you could just give maybe a short answer, one-word answer, what have you, just your first impression of the individual that I mentioned.
Okay.
All right. The first name on that list would actually be a guy that...
I'm kind of afraid of this, to be honest.
Wow, I can honestly say that I made Chris Masters afraid.
Do you mean wrestling's fake?
All right. Here's the question here. It's a guy that laughed before you put him in the Masterlock, and I kind of wanted to ask you a little bit about this. Marty Jannetty.
Marty Jannetty. Now, what's your question?
Basically, what's your first impressions of him?
Of Marty Jannetty?
That's correct.
It's like I was telling you before. We have such a young group of guys, or at least when I was up there, we have a young group of guys on Raw now and SmackDown. You know what I mean? It's like a new generation coming up, and I think most of us, like any one of the young guys that you see right now that's coming up. I mean, Marty Jannetty, whoever it is, we look up to these. We look up to these guys, and we respect them because we grew up watching. You know what I mean? And like I said, and I'm talking about the people who love professional wrestling, because I've known a lot of cases where there's people who just got into it when it became popular because they were big or whatever, and like that's what I was talking about in that misconception. I wanted to clarify earlier. I'm not some bodybuilder turned wrestler. I started bodybuilding for professional wrestling. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's a misconception that's always bothered me, because wrestling was always my number one love and number one passion. It's just you emulate. You want to emulate the guys you've seen on TV. You know what I mean? Like growing up on the Warriors, the Hogans,
mm-hmm.
All these guys. I mean, like you want to emulate. You want to emulate these guys, and unfortunately, at this point in time for the business, you know what I mean? Those, that led to some problems in my career, but it wasn't just that. You know what I mean? Obviously, like I said, I've had to deal with a lot of personal stuff within the last year that I think was probably taking my focus away from where it should be, which was work in WWE. And within the last month, I finally, I got that focus back. But unfortunately, it was taken away. You know what I mean? But my head's up, and like I said, I'm going to be taking indie bookings, appearances, signings, and anything that's up. I'm just going to see what the independent scene's like. You know what I mean?
Yep. And my final word association for you, then Bill can kind of take it home here. is actually your former boss, Vince McMahon. What's your impressions of meeting the larger-than-life character that is Vince?
Vince McMahon. Huh. Well, I think, and I'm sure you've heard it a million times, the man is a workaholic. He lives and breathes for his company, and, he does, and he's going to protect his baby, you know what I mean? Like, he has to. That's why things are happening. What's happening now is happening, you know what I mean? Like, he rolled the dice WrestleMania 1, you know what I mean? If that didn't succeed, then it was going to be done. Same thing for WrestleMania 2, and then, I think by the time WrestleMania 3 came along, they were producing, and WWE was rocking and rolling, or WWF at the time.
Exactly.
But Vince McMahon, he's definitely he has a presence that will intimidate you. He's a workaholic, but he's dedicated. Like I said, I really believe that's a man who puts his professional life, definitely for his personal life. You know what I mean? He really lives for his baby, which is WWE.
Well, Chris, I want to thank you very much for doing the interview. And is there anything else you want to plug, like your MySpace or anything else you got going?
Yeah. Well, definitely for, the meantime, for indie bookings or appearances or and stuff like that, you can reach me. My MySpace page is Chris Mordetsky 83.
Chris Mordetsky 83, and what we'll do is we'll put a link up as well to that, so people can contact you and maybe get in contact with you and tell you, keep at it, because we do have this website's a little bit different than most in that a lot of our posters are more positive than a lot of the other ones, and that's kind of the vibe that I've been trying to get, because it just, if you surround yourself with negativity, you're just going to end up depressed. So,
definitely, you can't.
Yeah.
No, like I said, I'm in Hollywood. I'm in the entertainment capital of the world. I'm just going to see where life takes me from this point. But like I said, for all the listeners out there, that doesn't mean that doesn't mean I'm done by a long shot. Trust me. 24 years old. You know what I mean? The passion's there, the fire's there. You will be seeing me again, guaranteed. And 6811. So that would be for obviously any appearances, signings, charity, independent bookings. I still got a couple weeks I have to heal. I haven't been to the gym in about a month. So,
does that kill you, not being able to go and work out?
Oh, I'm bouncing off the walls. Are you kidding me? You're not working out. You're not wrestling. It's just, it's a complete shift of lifestyles. One minute you go from being, go, gym, wrestle, travel, to a dead stop. You know what I mean?
Right, and that's probably the worst timing in the world now, that it's kind of leaving you to your thoughts as well.
Oh yeah, but you know what? I have a good support system, a good support group, good support system around me, and like I said, I'm staying upbeat. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm very optimistic and very positive. Surprisingly, believe me, surprisingly, I am. But
excellent.
Like I said, we'll see what the future holds. Whether it's for the meantime indie bookings, but who knows? Who knows what'll happen?
I'm no psychic, but I definitely have a feeling that we have not seen the last of Mordetsky in a WWE ring. He's got a gut instinct on that.
Oh yeah, and I agree with you there too. It's just like I said, I'm at a point now in my life where I can't think that far ahead. I got to think about right here, right now. And, you know what I mean? Like, I've made mistakes. I've tripped, I fall, like I told you. But, I'm back on my feet, and, it isn't the last you've seen of me. But, in the meantime, I'm going to keep wrestling, because it's what I love to do.
Again, Chris, thanks for doing the interview. I appreciate it. And it's very rare for me to talk to somebody 2 years younger, but twice my size.
Well, I don't know about that now. I've probably lost about 20 pounds within the last 4 weeks just from not eating and training. So, we might not be too far off. Maybe we can do a little pose down or something.
I think we should. Jim, set up the webcam going. Chris Mordetsky hose down.
Only if you wear your purple singlet, Bill.
The ones that I wore when I did the Chris Jericho interview. I will, because I'm your shiny grimace, baby.
All right, Chris. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, cool. Thanks a lot for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, cool. Before we let you off the phone, can I ask you one little favor?
Yeah.
Basically, could you give us a radio liner just saying this is Chris Mordetsky, if you prefer to say that, and you're listening to Our Slam Wrestling?
What is it called?
Our Slam Wrestling.
Our Slam Wrestling?
That's correct.
Okay,
Yep.
I can do that.
And you can spin it any way you want and give it your own spin if you'd like it as well.
Okay, cool. Tell me when.
All right, we're recording, so you can go in 5, 4, 3, 2.
This is Chris Mordetsky, formerly The Masterpiece, and you're watching... Well, shoot, what is it again? I'm sorry.
Our Slam Wrestling.
Our Slam Wrestling.
Actually, it might be easier. Bill, do you have a problem if we just says Wrestling Epicenter?
No, Our Slam Wrestling's fine. Let me just do it again.
Okay. All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2.
This is Chris Mordetsky, formerly The Masterpiece, and you're listening to the Our Slam Wrestling.
Thanks so much, man. We really do appreciate it. You did a great interview. It's great to talk to you. Keep staying positive. Trust me, things are going to go good for you.
Definitely, man. Get a good head on your shoulders, dude. And you're seriously, I mean, you can hear the fire in your voice, man. So good things are definitely going to be coming your way, man.
Oh, well, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah, and like I said, that's the biggest heartbreak of it all. It's not the fact of even losing I mean, it's just the fact of, once that fire is ignited and you're fired up, and then to have it taken away is where the heartbreak is. You know what I mean? It's like, maybe if I was where I was at 6 months ago, it wouldn't have bothered, wouldn't have bothered me as much, just because I was already thinking of, I just didn't know at that point if WWE was the place to be for me. You know what I mean? Just because the way I was being used and whatnot, I felt like my potential was higher. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, it's there. So that was a heartbreak. But like I said, I'm just going to continue doing it because that wrestling is my fix, and I got to get my fix.
Exactly. Well, best luck to you, man. Really, really do. Stay in touch. If you need any promotion or anything, give us a call because we'd love to do anything we can. If it involves banners, promoting anything, or anything you need, just let us know. We'll do what we can for you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on.
Take care, man. Good talking to you.
You too.
All right.
Hey guys, my name is James Walsh, and you are listening to the Wrestling Epicenter here on YouTube. I want to thank you for finding us. Please do me a favor and click that subscribe button and the notifications bell. And if you get the chance on this video, click the like button. If you do, it'll turn blue. Check it out. Also, check out WrestlingEpicenter.com for all this great content available in MP3 format, our online store that'll keep us going free and clear, daily news updates, as well as all the information from the history of professional wrestling you could possibly ever want. Check out WrestlingEpicenter.com online right now. Without any delay, let's get to your interview here on the Wrestling Epicenter.